Alright, so in this video, I'm going to critique Grant Cardone, or betterwise known as Uncle G. He's been in the real estate game for a long time. He started out in real estate investing with single family houses, but then he quickly scaled to multifamily. Now he's doing real big with apartment complexes like 200, 300, 400, 500 units. So he's not even in the small stuff now. He's in the big stuff space, commercial property. So anyway, he talks about different types of real estate, and I was just going to critique him or see what he thinks about real estate investing as far as different types. Let's look, see what he has. Let's see what he has to say. What's going on, real estate investors? Before we get to the next video, I'm going to make a quick announcement. I do have an ebook out to help you out through your real estate journey. So if you want more information, click the link down in the description below. Let's get to the next video.
Real estate, number one, single family. You guys all know what this is, called SFR, single family residential. Number two, single family rehab and flip. I fix it, I rehab it, I flip it. Three, single family home rental. Hey, I buy it, fix it, and rent it. There's going to be an explosion in single family rentals right now. The returns on single family rentals are going to be crazy.
All right. I agree with him 100%, especially if you're doing different tenant bases, like, for example, low-income housing, event spaces, traveling nurses, insurance companies. Why? Because you're getting higher than market rent. So when you're doing different tenant bases, that's going to help out a lot in any market. But it's definitely going to be crazy coming up in 2023 for sure.
Number four, duplexes and fourplexes. Easy to buy. Very easy to buy. Low percentage loans. You can get lots of leverage on them. You can put 3 or 4% down. You can probably do this 10 times and you're tapped out.
So what happens here when he talks about that is, it's very easy to get. It's not that difficult. You can do what you call house hacking. You can buy your first home, and your first home can be a triplex or a quad or a duplex. You live in it, rent out the other 2 or other 3, and when you do that, you're making cash flow as far as paying off the one you're living in. Then after 1 year, because you have to be what you call seasoned, you go off, rinse and repeat, go buy you another duplex, triplex, quad, rent this one out that you were living in. Now you're renting out all of it, and you're making some serious cash flow. So that's what he's talking about as far as getting the low interest rates as well.
I'm telling you, skip it, go to 100 units if you can.
Now, he made a statement like, skip it and just go ahead and go on to the bigger deals. Well, this is what I tell people. You got to be really careful, because one of the things that people mess up on in real estate investing is actually 2 things. You might start off and you not might get the right mentorship and the right help, and then you might start off too big. You got to crawl before you walk, right? Yeah, you got some type A personalities and type B personalities. I got that. But I think when you start scaling into apartment complexes, people not realizing it's a whole different ball game, real estate investing in multifamily, than in single family. It's not the same thing. It's just like apple and oranges. They're both fruits, but they're different types. It's just the way it is. They're both real estate investings, but they operate this differently. You purchase them differently. They're funded differently. Everything is different when it comes to single family and multifamily. I truly think you don't just skip to it. You really need some guidance and help if you're going to do that, if you're going to skip to that next level and get into multifamily.
Number 5, multifamily housing. I'm telling you, this thing is the Mac Daddy, man. It is the Mac Daddy. Nothing's going to exhaust it. Nothing's going to get rid of it. You got all these people from New York, Washington, D.C. They're starting to float down. They can't afford D.C. You can go.
I agree with him 100%. Multifamily is good. As a matter of fact, I got apartment complexes, but that took time. And back to my point, it's a different animal. But yes, multifamily, you can make some really good money. It's different. It's a different beast. But yeah, you're dealing with a lot more zeros. So you're going to make a lot more money when you do this right.
Retail strip centers. This is the kind of real estate you can buy. That was shut down during COVID.
Now, you start talking about retail strip centers. I'm kind of questionable about that. Look, here's the problem with retail strip centers. These properties are going to sit for a while. You need to have these big corporations, Amazon, CVS, Walgreens, whoever, come into your properties. But come into mind to realize this. When you haven't signed a contract, it's going to be sitting vacant. So you got to have a lot of capital for vacancy spaces. It's different than having vacancy payments on retail than it is a single family house. See, single family house is not that bad, but when you start talking about it in retail places, you're dealing with a lot more zeros. And then when you do it, it's a whole lot more paperwork. And a whole lot more understanding, and you got to be a little bit more sophisticated real estate investor. I just say, hey, look, start single family houses, get your feet wet in there, and then gradually move up if that's what you want to do.
Churches were shut down, stadiums were shut down, the U.S. government was shut down, local governments were shut down, police departments were like, oh, maybe not, fire to be looking at this, but you got to understand how to handle 7 tenants. Seven tenants are going to be long-term tenants, and you better be sure you got a good tenant here, because you're probably going to have more turnover here than you are in number 5. Number 7, retail single tenant like Walgreens or CVS. Those are single tenants. You're dependent upon one.
That's kind of risky right there, guys. This is, you're dealing with more zeros now. You start talking about CVS and all these retailers. That's kind of risky. Again, I stick with single families or multifamilies because people need a place to live. There's just no way around it. You got a higher chance of getting somebody in there quicker than you do with these other big commercial box office retailers.
One person, one company paying you. I don't like this. I'd be very careful in this space.
There you go.
Amazon's probably going to eat CVS. Number 8, industrial warehouses. Okay, been a big expansion. If you flew into Opelika, on the way out of Opelika, you see a big Amazon, like 50 acres of nothing but warehouses. That's what's considered industrial. It's been one of the leaders in real estate for the last 7 or 8 years. It provides cash flow. Storage, unbelievable. How many seen these big storage places? You know what? People will pay more to store stuff they don't want and pay for it longer than they will their children.
So that's another good point. Storage. People will pay sometimes for storage, but I guarantee you when it comes down to a recession, they're not going to want to lose their house. They're going to want to get rid of the excess payments of stuff like storage and stuff like that. They would rather keep that money and bring it back into their pocket and get rid of that storage facility, and whatever items were in there, they have to sell it or throw it away. I guarantee you they'll do that first before they end up getting rid of their single family house that they have to provide for their family.
Number 10, office buildings, okay? Office vacancy in Miami is the highest it's been in a decade. And then you'll see that I bought an office building just 4 months ago. Okay, when we bought that office building, we were at 85% occupied. So look, when you read a headline, don't let the headline mess up your head. Don't lose my capital. I know the neighborhood. You can't build here. It's almost impossible to build. It's on the water, got great views, and I'm next door. It's a no-brainer for me. You bought a house, not a person in the room knows anybody that's created wealth out of one house.
He's right. You can't make a whole lot of money or create really serious wealth off of one house. However, you can scale, because I've done it and I'm doing it off of many houses, so it can be done. Apartment complexes, you already bought all of them under one roof. Economies of scale, so that helps, especially when you start having maintenance and stuff. They don't have to go to different houses. You got everything under one roof when you got a 200-unit apartment complex. When you purchase a property, whether it's single family or let's make the distinction between multifamily, believe it or not, it's a lot easier to buy a multifamily than a single family. A multifamily, they're looking at the NOI, net operating income, whereas a single family, you have to have good credit. They're checking out how much liquid you have and all that. It's actually easier to buy a multifamily house.
You bought a house, dude, because you thought you wanted real estate, and you're getting pounded. Got to have a place to live. Okay, well, why don't you just go rent a place or get a hotel room? You don't have to buy a house first, okay? Is what I'm telling you. You create wealth because you have a business that pays you. So first, I got to take care of me and my health. 2, I got to take care of me and my business. We got a business. We got to take care of our business. I don't need to be out looking at real estate, and me and her got a business, then I'm betraying her. Okay? Once the business gets rolling, now I'm like, okay, I want to go buy a piece of real estate. What kind of real estate?
Good point. All he's saying is that, whether you buy a single family or a business, what are you going to do first? So me personally, what I started out, I went off and bought me a single family house because I wanted to get an idea of how this stuff works. Then I end up selling that, turn around what you call house hacking, sold, rented that one out and bought me another one, which is the one I'm living in now, and just rinse and repeat and kept doing it. And that's what you do. All right. Hopefully this helped, got you a good insight on how to do real estate investing and what type of properties to look for. Me personally, anywhere from single families, I skip everything in between, and then I go all the way up to apartment complexes. Hopefully this helped you out.